Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? It's your boy Savage, aka Sevloke. You tuning in to Sevloke's Hood Tales. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to the politic, man. Big shout out to everybody showing the channel love. Thank you for the support. Thank God it's Friday, man. I hope everybody's blessed on this beautiful Friday. Let me get some juice in my system, some of this coffee. That young Keefy Delight. If you know what Keefy is, it's the penitentiary coffee out here in Colorado. So, story time with the Savage, bro. Let me get myself right real quick. You know what I'm saying? Story time with the Savage. So, you heard me say in the last couple months that there was not really, Sureño hoods out here in Denver. And there was always like, you'll see maybe some Sureños, but they didn't make no noise, no presence in the Denver metro. I'm talking about in the Denver city limits. But I always said outside of the Denver city limits, you have Sureños, right? Well, a couple people in my comment section, I guess they gave me some information. Thank you for that information. They said, there was a presence in the Westwood now, that the Sureños are over there. I go over there at times. I don't see Sureños, but I'm not in the streets looking for trouble. I'm 37 years old, so I'm kind of just relaxing in my life, enjoying life. So maybe there is. So thank you for that information. I appreciate it. But let me take you to a story, right? There's a place out here, Montbello, the city of Montbello. In the city of Montbello, it's far in the distance. Like, you got to get on the highway and go to Montbello, and it's far in the distance, kind of by DIA, like that area, Green Valley Ranch, and that's far. It's its own city, one way in, one way out type thing, and the city is like an island. It's like its own little island. And the Montbello fools, they're very proud to be from Montbello. Like anybody from Montbello, they represent the Bellows. They represent the Calos, cuz. No, I'm just playing. And to be truthful, when I was growing up, we never acknowledged Montbello fools. We never acknowledged Aurora fools. Like, them fools were from Aurora and Montbello, and Denver fools had this cockiness about them. Them fools, we don't mess with Aurora. We don't mess with them Montbello fools. And what's funny now is after they regenificationed the neighborhoods out here in Denver, everybody has moved to Montbello or Aurora. So all the Denver residents, because they tore down the hoods out here and moved all these transplants, they send them to Aurora or Montbello because those are the cheaper areas. And in Aurora right now, Aurora is very active because all the gangs from all the Denver metro, especially the African Americans, they're on top of each other's head because there's not really space in Aurora to move. So you go outside, you might see your enemy, and it's been a lot of killings out there in Aurora. So it's funny how times have switched. Back in the day, we never acknowledged them. Back in the day, we never really acknowledged Montbello. Even in the penitentiaries, East Denver fools did their own thing. Like, Denver fools stuck to their own south and looked at the other cities as off-brands. You know what I'm saying? We used to, even with the Colorado Springs fools, they definitely didn't get no love. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was politicking for real, Aurora's a little more closer to Denver because, like, Colfax actually runs through Aurora and Denver, but Montbello is off in the distance, way off in the distance. It's longer to get to Montbello, but they got their own politics, and their politics consist of local Montbello hoods like Montbello Truist, Black Mafia Crip fools. You have some hoods like the Gear Gangs and, the Raymonds, and you have the Horton family. That was a family that turned into a gang. You have, I think it's called the A71 Blood fools. You have, I think, some gang called the Stormin' 80 Bloods. You have that aspect, of gang banging. But nobody ever told me, and my family decided to buy a house over there because the properties were cheap. Nobody told us that there were Sureño hoods out in Montbello. Like I always say, the Denver city, you don't really see Sureños, but when you go outside of the Denver city, you're going to catch more Sureño hoods. You know, Aurora has a lot of Sureño hoods. Montbello has Sureño hoods. And to be truthful, Montbello, I heard that there was racial tensions at the high school, Montbello High School. And the blacks and the Mexicans didn't get along. I didn't really see that in Denver. So that, like I said, it was its own little world. It was a different world out there. So my family moves to the new residential area in Montbello. They have a new Montbello and they have an old Montbello. The old Montbello is older houses. It's a lot of houses that are crumbling more than anything. Old houses. And then when you get to the new Montbello, it looks like a whole different world. It's the new residential houses, beautiful properties. And one street separates everything over there. Once you get on the other side of the park, by Falcon Park, that's the old Montbello. When you're by the elementary school, those are all new residential houses. And it looks different. Like the housing is a different color. These houses are going to be a little more run down, and these houses are going to look like new properties. While my auntie and uncle buy a house out there. Like I said, the properties were a little more, they were a little more cheaper, and they bring the kids over there. My little cousins, my cousin Siobhan and her kids, and my cousin Bible's over there, and you know, we go over there. I end up start going over there because I live with my OG cousin Bible, and we go over there, and when I get over there, it's a whole different atmosphere. We start being in the neighborhood. We start going in the neighborhood. I'm going back and forth to Denver to Montbello. And when I'm over there, I start seeing different foods in the neighborhood. I start seeing foods that look like, you know, they bang. And, you know, I'm like, dang, Montbello really got politics. Well, what's funny is Montbello, you always heard Montbello always had foods that were from this gang. And then when they got older, they joined this gang. So at the same time, you could say these fools was hood hopping. You know what I'm saying? These fools used to be Crips and now they're Bloods. These fools used to be Bloods and now they're Crips. So that's kind of why Denver looked down upon them. You know what I'm saying? At one time, they used to call it the Calos, and it was just one of the biggest. It was one of the bigger Crip areas in the whole metro. But then I guess Bloods came over there and they got their own little sectors, and these fools used to be from here and this, and you know, that fool used to be a rider from here and now he's banging this. I don't know if you can understand that, but it was some weird shit going on sometimes over there. So anyways, long story short, we go into the neighborhood. I start going over there to visit my cousins. I'm pulling up with the OGs over there because the OG's mom is the one that bought the house. And right next door, to the left of the house that my auntie bought and my uncle bought, there's these two brothers. They some black fools, and they're one's from Black Mafia Crips, and then his brother's from a Blood Hood. You know what I'm saying? But the older brother was the Crip, and you know, it was the wave when the Bloods, Lil Wayne. It was when like the Bloods started having a wave. His little brother decided to become a Blood, and he would beat up his little brother. But it was just so funny to see that in one house. And then down the street, you had Paisas and Mexicans, but you had this one house that you could tell they were straight Sureños. You know what I'm saying? And they were not Sureños that you would see out here. They looked like some straight California Sureños. And at first I was like, we didn't really see the fools all struck down on the face, like all the way down, boom, you know, tattooed on the head. So I was like, oh, these fools really might be from the land. You know what I'm saying? We go over there and it's youngsters. We're younger. They're little youngsters. They're little brothers that were with the Sureño fools. You know, they're all basically on us because we're new fools in the area. And the homies braided down different. You know, we look the part of gangbangers. So they're like, who are these fools? Well, anyways, different situations occurred to like a mini brawl, and then there was bad tensions and stuff over there. So the first thing that popped off with these fools, my little cousin, he was cool with the neighbors, the black fools. He was buying weed from them fools. He went over there one time. While that essay fool, one of the little essay fools that was with the Sureños, he was over there also. While the essay fool tries to bang on my little cousin. My little cousin's like, what's up? This is the east side, homie. This is east side Denver. So these little fools, they're about to chunk it out while that little essay fool pulls out a knife. He pulls out a knife on my little cousin. My little cousin's like, all right, well, we're going to fade out. So my little cousin tells the my OG cousin what happened. And my OG cousin, he goes over there where the house is because it already diffused. And he went over there and he's trying to talk to the older brother, the older essay fool. And the essay fool's he got his chest pumped out like, hey, homie, we lived over here forever. This is our block. So my cousin was like, yeah, homie, but we moved over here, so it is what it is. Well, anyways, nothing happens that day, right? Everything gets dispersed. So it's summertime. We're about to go to a party one night. One of my little cousins' homegirl knows where this party's at in Montbello. Like, we don't know anything about Montbello. Well, her homegirl from her school is the one that's actually having the party. So she's like, yeah, we're down the street from your family's house, like in the the older part of Montbello. So they come pick us up. It's about 4 of the homies, me, and then the homegirls that are with, the homies. So the girl that's having the party, her phone dies, and pretty much the homegirl cannot get a hold of that girl that's having a party. So we're bailing around Montbello. We're driving, trying to find the house. Like, they were giving us an address, but we were just looking for a house that might had a party going on, and that's kind of what we were on. Well, when we were driving, right, we go by the Falcon Park, and we're driving, and there's 2 little fools in the park walking. Well, the little fools I'm with, they're already buzzed and they're already turned up, so they hop out on these fools. They run up and they bang on them, and the fool like tries to state one word, and the little homie stole on them, so they start beating these little fools up. They're already turned up. They get back in the car. The females that we were with, they were like, hey, drop us off, and we're gonna try to get a hold of the homegirl, and pretty much we'll call you here in a minute. So we dropped them off. Some reason we're like, F that, we don't care, we don't need these females to find this party. We literally start like just driving around, and out of nowhere we come to this corner and there's a house party. So this girl, her name was Vegas. We hop out, and I knew Vegas too, also from the high school. And we knock on the door, and like the females over there, and I recognized Vegas, and I was like, hey, it's Alicia's brother, John. And she was like, what's up? Where's your sister? Whoop-de-whoop. Where's Cassandra? We're like, pretty much, they'll pull up later. We're going to call them. So Vegas don't tell us that basically there's some little red rag fools that were in the back of the house, and they're playing pool. They got liquor. Well, we go back in the backyard, and the homies realize that these fools are red rags. So the homies start acting up with these fools, and they're like, hey, these are our liquor bottles, and just jacking everything. And they were like, this is our pool table. Well, the red rag gets mad, and he starts going off out the mouth, and the homie CeeLo stole on this fool. Boom, start crashing him out. Boom, 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 beating him up. These little fools, like, they started hollering, and they're like, the cops are gonna come. So anyway, CeeLo has a warrant. They run off. CeeLo runs off, and it's me, my cousin, my little cousin Gats, and my brother. And we're walking, and CeeLo and pretty much his little homie, they run to the car and they dip off, bro. So we're on foot. And it's about a 15-minute walk from that house to where my auntie lives. They live on the other side of Montbello. So we have to get on foot. We start walking through Montbello towards my auntie's house. We get basically to this intersection, and then all of a sudden I started seeing a couple cars driving. And they're going through, and they're looking. I said, oh, that's them fools from that party. So we take off. Boom. Well, it's funny, bro. This is the funny part. we come down this block and we're kind of jogging, and there's these fools outside, and there's some SA fools, and I switched it up. I said, hey, Holmes, hey, the north side fools, they're coming down the block. Well, this Sureño fool, he goes and he's like, where are these fools at, homie? And he cocked the heat, and I said, they're coming down the block. Well, sure enough, they came down the block, and the SA fools, and that car drove off. Them cars drove off. So I called my cousin, Siobhan, and they come and get us. We go back to the house. We still have a little bit of drink, and we're celebrating like, that was crazy, fool. Whoop-de-whoop. That was crazy. My cousin Siobhan leaves, right? So I'm in the house. I get on the phone. I think I'm Casanova. I call some female up. I think I'm Casanova. I hear a commotion outside. I go outside, and my little cousin and my little brother, the SA fool from down the street, he's over at my auntie's property tripping with my little cousin. This is a grown-ass man. He's like, what's up, homie? This is Longo gang. And I didn't honestly know what the Longos were. And I found out they're Long Beach Sureño fools. And I was like, I don't give a care. I start banging because I'm not, at that time, I don't have no fear in me. I'm like, fool, you in, this is Eastside Denver, woo-de-woo. Start banging on this fool. And he's like, hey, homie, I'll knock you out. I said, this is Longo gang. What's up, Eastside? So I said, hey, bro. I squared up with this one. I said, you got 27 seconds to get out of here, homie, before you get knocked out. So anyways, bro, I count down. 27, 26, 25. And he's like, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing, homie. You ain't gonna do nothing. And I got down to 5. And he mocked me. And he said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I hit this fool. And I dropped him. And I start banging with this fool. And we're banging. And this big-ass fool is not going down. He keeps getting back up. I grab him. And I have him, and I start biting his ear. I started biting it. I'm on top of him, and I'm biting it. All of a sudden, my cousins, they come with some shovels, and they start hitting this fool. Boom, so we start T-rolling this fool. Well, anyways, neighbors come out. We run to the garage. I go in. I shut off all the lights. You start hearing the cops come up the block. The cops, basically, they come, and they take me and him to the county. They try to give me assault charges. They try to give us fighting in public. We go to the county. We bond out. While this fool that we beat up, he was an OG fool from Longos. He gets out after being bonded out, and this fool commits suicide, bro. This fool commits suicide. He dies. The fools from Longo gang, these fools thought we killed this fool. So that happens, right? Then all of a sudden after that, these fools, my auntie and them fools could be driving up from work, and these fools would be striking up gang signs to my auntie and uncle. My auntie and uncle don't bang. So we started going over there. A little bit deeper, started bringing protection, and you know what I'm saying, getting ready for some stuff gonna pop off. There was an incident that one of them little fools came, one of their little cousins that came from California, he comes and he knocks on the door, and my cousin goes up there, and my cousin brings the burner, and he's like, what's up, homie? And he's like, hey, do you have this? And my cousin was like, nah, we got this. And that fool's like, nah, it ain't like that, homie. It ain't like that, homie. So anyways, couple weeks later, my little cousin that was at the party with us, he goes to the corner store to grab a Black and Mild. Them little fools drive up to the same corner store, the little store that's over there, and they start tripping with my little cousin and this broad named Nicole. I guess they started fighting, right? My cousin hops in the car, Nicole, and they're bailing through Montbello. While I'm on the phone, and it's them old phones that you could hear the other line when somebody calls, beep, and somebody keeps blowing up the phone, and I don't want to answer because I'm talking to some female. I finally get pissed, and I answer, and I'm like, what's up, fool? I'm on the other line. He's like, come outside. These fools are following us. So automatically, I already knew that it had to be something that went on. So my mind goes, oh, it's the Sureño fools. I go outside. My older cousins are. I said, your brother, they're following him. He's like, where? So all of a sudden, we see a car on the side street, and they pull up. My cousins pull up, and they're like tailing them. My cousins hop out, and old girl hop out. Even the old girl Nicole was riding. They don't see us walking up, like running up. These fools are about to swing on old girl, my cousin, and I come from the side, and I just hit this fool. and he just buckled, homie. That fool's eyes went down, and he buckled, and he fell asleep, and he buckled. Boom. I see my older cousin come with this big old rock, and he gorilla stomped it. Gorilla, like, bashed his head. Boom, through the big old rock. His homie that was with him tried to drive off, and everybody started throwing rocks to their thing. Boom, boom, boom. This fool's knocked out. We dip out. Boom. They leave him. Finally, like 10 minutes later, they come back and got this dude. He got knocked out. Well, all of a sudden, that night, the Sureños hit the block and they shoot up the homie's house. Boom, 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 boom. So it was like, it was crazy. A mini war over there, bro. It was like a mini war. Hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I gotta go.